Usually for us, there's no Q&A at the end of the evening. It's unfortunate, but tonight 3 of the filmmakers are deceased, and the 4th one, Stuart Staples, is on tour with his band Tindersticks in Europe right now. So I was unable to arrange a conversation with him. So my apologies, but this will be a significantly longer introduction than normal. Overall, I think of our series as confronting in various ways the cinematic transmission of knowledge. For this program, I chose 4 films with, I think, different purposes, although obviously there are 2 pairings, a source film and a new work. The first film is a medical diagnostic film. The second is a complex experimental film regarding materiality, fragility, gender, and illness. The third is a micro-cinematographic tour de force, nature educational film with narration, and the 4th is a meditative reverie with undefined and beautiful images from nature. To start, all these films incorporate written texts, but of different sorts, and how the written text is used or not used is closely related to the film's purposes. The X-ray films by Dr. James Sibley Watson, of which is, the first piece is that, and his team have cards that define the imagery that is about to be presented. The audience is guided to the correct reading of the images. For the F. Percy Smith film, the text is in the narration, an attempt at educating with some humor, although the facts as presented are flawed, and interestingly were known as flawed even at the time it was made. Sanctus has visual text, optically printed pages or words apparently from a medical text, with a few words highlighted that emphasize illness and fragility. The isolated words, though, are often incomplete, so the viewer needs to interpret the full word, and most of the apparent text is still unreadable due to the speed of the images or the layering of the images with other images. Minute Bodies has an introductory factual text about the source films, and then nothing else, leaving what we see open to question throughout, finding power in the inherent awe of beautiful, almost abstract images writ large, fully denaturing the original purpose of the source films. I've read one critique which found it frustrating that the audience was not being told what they were seeing, but that is the point of the film, to create an open space and mood for imagination. The science films define their images, and by doing so, direct the viewer to a single interpretation. They seek to find diagnostic answers, to create order, to pass along established knowledge. Their pedagogical intentions are clear. The experimental films seek to create an active space for viewers to find multiple meanings, to raise questions, to find complexities behind the pedagogy. As such, there's more to say about them. Sanctus has been written about quite a bit by different writers. It has a cross-generational impact. It's been around since 1990 and sort of, I think, perceived as a classic work right from its making. A couple of these thoughts that I'm about to have draw heavily from the book Girlhead by Genevieve Yu, who actually was a Filmforum volunteer once upon a time. Sanctus opens and closes with a so-called China Girl, a moving image used by labs as part of the process of checking for density of the film. This China Girl and the later text do not come from Watson's films. The rest of it does, the X-ray footage, which is usually the most striking part of the film for people. This unnamed, normally unseen woman bookends a film that utilizes imagery of the insides of people, also normally unseen, a reminder that what we see in life and in the film is incomplete. Those images frame the layers of a body in representational space, but also customarily frame a film as film material. In this case, at the end of the film, the frame is destroyed through the burning of the film. In parallel, the high doses of X-rays used for filming these images destroyed the people being filmed, who are often, but not always, coded as women. The film's materials are constructed to find parallel with the living beings represented within. Barbara Hammer had that physical damage as one of her concerns when seeing and using the footage. She wrote, and I apologize for not including this in the program notes, but for those of you who don't have them, there's program notes with various things as well. In making Sanctus, I was concerned about the contradictory qualities of beauty and danger of the images that were made by radiation. I delighted in the imagery, and at the same time, I imagined the deleterious effects of the image making on the subjects. This was my dilemma in making the film, and it continues until today. I rely on the viewer's intuition of a foreboding, a sense of ambivalence, an unsteady, non-homogeneous emotive state, a not knowing. Laura Marks, in her discussion of faded film, in her book Touch, Sensuous Theory and Multisensory Media, wrote, not about Sanctus, but it still seems to apply here, these images appeal to a look that does not recoil from death, but acknowledges death as part of our being. I'll skip the next bit. And for a bit more on minute bodies, which I think is a less complex work, but is a beautiful reverie or meditation that also, it seems to me, to be concerned with fragility in life, the realities of bodies, natural objects, and life and death. By removing the narration of the sources to isolate the wonderful microscopic and time-lapse images made by F. Percy Smith, minute bodies expands the sense of wonder that is evoked in the image. The film was directed by Stuart A. Staples, who is the leader of the British band Tindersticks, and who has also done the scoring for at least 7 films by Claire Denis. As I mentioned, Tindersticks is currently on tour in Europe. The fact that the film was directed by a music composer is essential to its structure. It has movements and cadences. You will find that individual source films tend to be self-contained within movements. Magic Mixies, which is the F. Percy Smith film I've included tonight, is the source for everything, or almost everything, from 8 minutes, 15 seconds in the film through 16 minutes, 15 seconds. So about 8 minutes of minute bodies is from Magic Mixies, but re-edited, with a fade from black at the start and a frame to black at the end. Other sections also draw from particular films, and this is also clear from the accompanying album, where tracks are named based on the films, and also how it can be viewed on YouTube, where each chapter corresponds to a film. More source films are listed in the end than there are sections, which indicates that some more involved editing happens at some points in the film, I think primarily in the first couple of minutes. Staples said about it, radiating from within the classic Secrets of Nature educational film series is the pure, breathtaking photography of Frank Percy Smith. Mostly filmed at his North London home using equipment designed and built by himself, his work seems as fresh and bewildering today as when it was first screened. From a small glimpse of that work, I was compelled to learn more. The more I saw, the more I felt the need to collaborate with this F. Percy Smith. I felt the beauty and adventure in his images to be somehow trapped within their time and format. As I started to cut them loose, the musical forms and connections began to emerge. My main aim for Minute Bodies is that it invites Smith's work to breathe and exist in the present. Smith was a major, unique figure. His work transcends the constraints of its time. Now it teaches us about patience, commitment, ingenuity, and determination. End quote. All imagery contains multiple meanings and possibilities, manipulatable and fluid in interpretations based on social, linguistic, aesthetic, or economic contexts. Overall, I hope our series contains a variety of approaches to comprehending the ways that moving pictures of knowledge are not purely objective or factual, not even the science films that are documenting an experiment's results and not intended for public consumption. I hope that this program highlights the range of investigation and the usefulness of found footage, while also experiencing the sheer pleasure and wonder of the films that I do. Thank you for coming and enjoy the show.